Welcome to this edition of Supply Chain Spotlight. I'm JT Angstrom. Joining me today is a special guest, Bill Morrisroe, Chief Sales Officer and EVP of Smith Transportation. Bill, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
John, great to see you again. Good afternoon.
And Happy New Year. I haven't seen you since 2020. So we're hoping 2021 kicks off to a much more stable start, but also very favorable.
Yeah, everybody was looking forward to this calendar turn.
That's right. That's right. And so now I had the pleasure of sitting with you in person, face to face before the turn of the year. We got to know each other a little bit, and that was wonderful to be able to meet face to face. In meeting with both you and the team, I gained a much deeper appreciation for what the Smith team does, and I'm very excited to be able to talk about that. And so with that, for benefits of our audience, can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got to where you are, sort of the 60 to 122nd background in your career?
Sure thing. Thank you. So I got into the business 30 plus years ago, most of my career with Watkins Motor Lines here in Florida. Basically an LTL guy doing some truckload. That sold to FedEx in 2005. And at that point, my skill set just exploded, selling for FedEx and doing different things for them, international air and parcel and cold chain and healthcare verticals. At that point, I really took a little bit of a career turn thinking, the upside here is just tremendous to add to your skill set and really learn a lot. So after my years at FedEx, I did some truckload and some refrigerated flatbed business and wound up doing business with Smith Transportation Services here in Tampa. I was hauling freight for them. They were a really good partner. And about 3 years ago, I ended up coming over here because the upside of the company just looked so great to me. It was worth a move.
No, I would agree. And I think that background, as you just outlined, starting at Watkins and then going into FedEx, I think is an important parallel to draw with you now being at Smith, because FedEx buys outperforming companies, and Watkins was one. And you certainly learned developing a differentiated value proposition in the truckload industry, and I know Smith has one itself. And so I think that sets up with a pretty unique baseboard. Let's first just talk a little bit about Smith and what you all do, and after the fact, we'll have a little bit of a deeper dive into some of the differentiated elements of the business.
Yeah, perfect segue. So Smith has been around a while. We're a 50-plus-year-old brokerage. The unique thing that happened about 10 years ago is we started buying assets. And, being an asset-based broker in this space is really a game changer for customers. It gives you such flexibility to do so much and solve so many problems. So our business, we've got terminals in Florida, California, New Jersey, service the whole country, Canada, Mexico, and basically offer all of the services that a customer would need, from LTL via a homegrown optimizer, truckload, every kind of truckload, expedite service, a really unique intermodal service where a company our size, mid-sized broker, we really do a lot of intermodal with Fortune 50 companies because of the boutique service that we give them. So a really unique service offering there as well. But the signature service here at Smith is called Load to Ride. And it's basically what many people would call partials or heavy hauls, that sweet spot between LTL and truckload, between about 3 and 14 pallet positions.
Yeah, and that Load to Ride service is much more specialized than traditional brokerage. There's a lot of truckload brokers. There's some LTL brokers. There's a bucket, not a vast array, certainly not as vast as truckload, but there's a significantly smaller down select of those doing Load to Ride. And so I think that's a very unique element of the story at Smith, and clearly a highly differentiated value proposition for your end markets, and being able to offer, truckload equivalent service to LTL shippers with truckload pricing. And that's very unique, and that offers a significant financial opportunity for you as well. Can we talk about how you all convert that financial opportunity that you're creating for Smith and are able to offer that as cost savings to your end markets while also providing commensurate service levels?
Yeah, I mean, we'll hit on some of those points today, and I would encourage anyone to learn more to go to smith-cargo.com and see our videos on Load to Ride service. But basically, that space in between solves so many problems. You know, when an LTL carrier these days really doesn't want the 10 pallet order, and as a shipper, you don't have enough to ship a truckload, and you don't want to pay for a full truckload. So that space in the middle is what we occupy. And the way that we do it is we use our technology to combine similar shipment sizes from an origin city going to a destination region. So, for example, we'll pick up 3 8-pallet orders in Los Angeles today, and on Monday we'll deliver the first one in Pensacola, the second in Tampa, the third in Miami, and then that driver reloads with a multi-stop out of Miami heading somewhere else in the country.
Yeah. And that's very unique. And there's a lot of technological differentiation to be able to make something like that happen. But let's talk a little bit about the operations before we get into the technology, because I think that'll help give the audience a much deeper appreciation for how important that technology is. And so why don't we start with talking about door-to-door service? And how do you guys think about that? How do you provide it?
Yeah, so unique when compared to traditional LTL. So what we do is we'll either make a local pickup at one of our facilities and bring it to the facility, and then our technology matches the freight to other shippers in what we just described. But many times the line haul driver will just pick them up en route via a multi-stop. And the benefits to that are just tremendous. We don't top load freight because it's delivered and picked up en route. So you've got more intact on-time shipments, and your pallet's going to arrive in the same packaging and pristine way that you shipped it, which is a great customer benefit. Hopefully that leads to more sales for your company. But that door-to-door service, it also, it eliminates a lot of damages because there's no cross-dock, no handling. The average LTL shipment cross-country hits about 3.8 cross-docks, and we hit less than 1. So at the end of the day, you're not getting returns, and you're not having to manage that. And customer satisfaction skyrockets because of that intact on-time delivery.
Yeah, and that's a really unique story. And talking about the packaging and shipping and the lack of double stacking, can we talk a little bit about how you think about your pallet strategy? And I know you're very thoughtful about it, which is why I deliberately bring it up.
Yeah, it's great. We don't use NMFC classifications in the load to ride service. It's a pallet rate system, and we basically charge the shipper for the 4x4 floor position of the pallet. The pallet can be stacked as high as 96 inches because, again, we don't top load. We deliver en route. So the benefits there are many. And the one I hear most from customers is no NMFCs means no reclassifications and no rebills. And, that's a pain point for a lot of LTL shippers where they didn't budget to have 77 reclassifications this year and cost them another $24,000 on their budget. And we eliminate that with load to ride. We also eliminate dim weight applications and things like linear foot rule. You're basically getting charged only for the pallet positions that you occupy, and our shippers love it.
And now within that, could we talk a little bit about dim pricing or the lack thereof? I think that's also an interesting discussion point.
Yeah, it just doesn't exist with load to ride. So if you've got a 14 pallet order, you think about how you're going to ship that. If you go through an LTL provider, there's some downside there. First of all, they really don't want to move it, but they might. And when it moves, it's a spot quote. And spot quotes in the LTL world, they don't move at full cargo liability. They move at $1 a pound, basically. We're going to move that 14 pallets, cover your full cargo liability. And the same thing on the upside versus truckload. We just give you the flexibility to avoid any dim rules with very large shipments or very long pallets.
Yeah. With confidence in service delivery, with a greatly mitigated damage rate, and also with variable charging based exclusively on utilization and limited, rebilling, which is a very unique service offering in the space. And I think that serves you and really your customers very well.
It does. And, it's not just the rebill itself, but it's the administrative effort to, have somebody go through those and communicate back and forth. And it's a pain point. And, taking that out of play via the load to ride service at Smith is just a great benefit to shippers.
Yeah. And so now can we talk a little bit about dispatching?
Sure. So, the dispatch here, a lot of our freight is appointment freight, like a lot of LTL. And, we pre-appoint the day of pickup best we can. If not, we do it next morning. And we dispatch to meet the appointments. A traditional LTL provider might sit on a trailer and load it high and tight to get the most revenue out of the truck. And that's normal practice, and it's a good practice for an LTL network. In our network, that doesn't exist. We dispatch it to meet the appointment, and we just reverse order the loading of the shipment. So my prior example, Los Angeles, the first stop on the tail will be Pensacola, the second Tampa, the third Miami. And we make service to a very high degree because it's so simple. And the technology that routes that freight really builds efficiencies in our network so that we're always matching the right shipments to not only satisfy the customer from a service perspective, but to make us a very effective carrier and to do it at the most efficient price.
Yeah, that's tremendous. And so let's use that final comment as a baseboard to talk about enabling execution through technology. And so I think it's a little bit more obvious to our audience now how this is a significantly differentiated offering as a result of it. You can't use exclusively off-the-shelf technology. You have to have pretty specialized personnel to help operate the network. And clearly there's significant technological enablers to keep all the puzzle pieces together. Can we talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, we've had this service for decades, so it's not new. But, we've got a lot of really smart dispatchers and planners that over the years started doing this on yellow notepads and then evolved to Excel spreadsheets. Now our technology still, these guides still are the interface, but basically it'll tell them, here's what this load's going to look like versus them trying to put the jigsaw puzzle together every day. And what a leap forward that is for efficiency and customer service and just removing any mistakes that might have happened in the past. So more recently, we've engaged in logistics technology with bots and artificial intelligence that do all this for us, allow the system to be the efficiency maker and improve the quality of service as well. The technology itself also optimizes mode. So if it happened last week, I got a call and we had 4 pallets that was an overflow in the last dispatch in a specific lane. And we contact the customer and say, hey, this didn't make the cut tonight. We can cut it first thing tomorrow morning. It'll still make service. However, if you need it to move, I can put it through my LTL optimizer and get it there on time and intact. So the optionality of the artificial intelligence we're using really is a step forward.
Yeah, that's a significant enabler to not just keep everything together, but also give shippers optionality to know that, okay, even if there's a change in intended procedure, that I have options and they have it under control and they can provide me with a go forward plan that I can pick and choose what I would like to do best, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And we're always looking forward, and the next level is, optimizing route, service mode, and efficiency, and really driving the best rate that we can. So at the end of the day, when you put all this together, you're not only satisfying the shipment's needs, but you're getting more and more efficient. You're able to save and share that savings with shippers as they move forward. And the technology itself, the intelligence, it gets to know who the shipper is and their tendencies. So we'll be able to plan and understand and share with the customer, hey, this is what you do every week. And the bot's basically telling us, hey, there's a better way. So let's have a discussion about that. Let's make it a value add via Smith Transportation and the load to ride service or one of our other service options.
Yeah, and I would think that value creation, that cost savings opportunity, given the operational structure you all have set up, is clearly in existence now, but I think will continue to be more and more significant over time as you see the pricing dynamics in LTL are, above truckload, and that delta will continue to expand. And as a result, being able to leverage both networks off each other will have an ever expanding value creation opportunity, which is very unique.
Well, in this business, you're going to have to be in that space at some point to survive. And, it really helped us through COVID, being able to flex with, not only the technology, but being an asset-based broker, for the downturn in April and May. How do we best match the 50% of volume we normally see? And it helped us through it. And then the rebound in June and the rest of the year was just a smoking hot year for everybody. And we're able to adjust on the fly and still provide the great service, still keep our margins, very important, and be able to reinvest in even more.
Absolutely. So we're now, I guess, final thoughts. So we're now 2 weeks into 2021. If I had asked this question of anybody 2 weeks into 2020, we would have all been materially off the mark. But looking into 2021, with the current setup we have, assuming no force majeure type events, which occur frequently but are very difficult to predict, what do you see as some of the big operational or strategic initiatives that you seek to accomplish that will drive incremental value proposition to your shippers?
Well, we're expanding. We're opening Chicago and Dallas this year as origin load to ride points. They're midpoints for us now, so it'll be a pretty easy launch. We feel that the first half of the year is going to be quite strong and enable us to get the revenue from 2020, kind of add on to that, accentuate our installation of new technology. We've got 4 different technology platforms that we're bringing on in the first 2 quarters. And after that, it's anybody's guess. But the first half of the year is super exciting based on those facts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's manage what you can control, take care of your customers, ensure that you're providing a material value proposition. And if there's a global economic event that materially puts volatility into the freight economy, you can't control that, but you can navigate it. And so I think driving initiatives that you can control that continue to provide end market opportunity to your shippers is absolutely the right way to go. And I think it's going to serve you really well. And I think this model will serve both you and your shippers really well for years to come. So that's super exciting.
Absolutely is. We're pumped. We're ready to go.
That's awesome. Well, I know you've already kicked off the year, but from me, please do kick off the year and have a great year. And I'll look forward to seeing you all soon. So thank you for your time.
My pleasure, John. Thanks for having me on Freightwaves today. And again, if anyone is interested in learning more, go to smith-cargo.com and we'd love to work with you.
Absolutely. So thank you. Bill Morrisroe, Chief Sales Officer and EVP of Smith Transportation. I'm JT Angstrom. Thank you for joining us today.